We back like new Drake music with episode 5 of the DraftKings Life Podcast. I'm Jason Jones, Senior Recruitment Marketing Specialist, and I'm joined by Meg Powers, Talent Acquisition Specialist. What is up, Meg P?
Not too much. Well, I got it. I was just telling you, I got a new Apple Watch. It's an old Apple Watch. I decided to buy one from my friend just to see what all the hype's about. So that's new. And I think this episode will be released on or before, right after St. Patrick's Day. So that's my favorite holiday. So hopefully at this point I'll be celebrating somehow remotely. Other than that, not too much, hanging in. How are you?
I'm great because we're besties. That's why I'm wearing a green hat,
Cute.
a week early. And potentially welcome to the Apple Watch gang. I've been rocking one for about 5-6 years now. So, welcome. But all is great, Meg. All is great. The last few days have been out of this world. First, we're talking footy. We're talking some soccer. My team in England, Manchester United, defeated our cross-town rivals, Manchester City, over the weekend. So big win. Love it. Jones household's going crazy. Next is went snowboarding over the weekend. Bluebird day, not a cloud in the sky, tearing up the trails. I only fell like once or twice, no injuries. So, and then most importantly, my parents are getting vaccinated. So my dad has both. My mom has one to go. So honestly, no complaints. Always good on my side of the fence. How are you?
Love that. Congrats. It's super exciting for your parents. And I'm sure it's a relief to feel that and everything as well too. So That's exciting. Speaking of exciting, do you want to kick us off our little bonus episode here of Women's History Month?
So we are continuing celebrating Women's History Month on the podcast. We have not one, but two guests, Mia Tantillo and Sarah Juselius, joining us. But let's talk hot jobs and DraftKings now first.
Hot jobs.
We are in search of a program manager to join the creative operations team. In this position, you will work closely with production team leads and collaborate with cross-functional stakeholders to plan, track, and manage programs. If you can manage multiple projects while keeping your head cool, then you'd be a great fit.
We are searching for a senior internal communications specialist to develop and deploy global communication programs and platforms. When you join this team, you'll ensure the right message, right audience, right channel, right time are all aligned. You will be responsible for providing specialized communication support and project management for development, execution, and measurement of multi-channel communication strategy and technology solutions. There's a lot of words, but there is a lot of good going on with this role, so definitely apply online.
DraftKings Now pregame report.
The DraftKings Now pregame report is back to give you exciting company updates and keep you in the know with all things DraftKings. DraftKings will become UFC's first ever official sportsbook and daily fantasy partner in United States and Canada. We will now be able to offer in-game promotions, activations, in-broadcast odds, integrations, and UFC branding in its daily fantasy and betting products. And will possess the rights to use UFC marks and logos. Very, very cool.
Dish Network and DraftKings announced an agreement across Dish's portfolio brands to bring DraftKings' sportsbook and daily fantasy experiences directly to Dish customers nationwide, beginning with a first-of-its-kind DraftKings app integration on the Dish TV Hopper platform. Hop to it, people!
Thank you both so much for joining us today. I would love for you to introduce yourselves, tell everyone your name, job titles, and what you do at DraftKings. Sarah, why don't we start with you?
Sure. I'm Sarah Juselius. I'm the Senior Director of Creative Operations. Really excited to be part of this series. I oversee the Creative Operations Group. We are a team of program and project managers that focus on supporting the marketing org.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Mia Tantillo. I'm the Design Operations Manager for the product design team. So similar to the work that Sarah does, but really focused on the product side of the business, but similar kind of function of project management, operations, and processes.
Great. Well, thanks for being here, guys. We will be talking more about your experiences and everything, but we like to start the podcast by asking you how you're doing with remote work. 2020 was absolutely crazy. I think this episode will be out by the time it's our 1 year of being remote, but how have you guys been this year and given the current state of the world right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a really interesting past 12 months. I feel a little deja vu from the same time of year last year. Mostly doing okay, trying to focus on the upsides of the current circumstances and sort of manage the stressful pieces of it. It's definitely a balancing act and tricky at times, but trying to find the silver lining in things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just been rough. Jason said, to be honest, and that's my take on this year. It hasn't been super easy, but at least we have kind of a light at the end of the tunnel now, hopefully. And luckily, Boston is actually sunny over the past couple of days, which has been a godsend.
Yeah, the days are getting longer.
Like, why does today feel like an Arctic chill is just like just taking over the city? Like walking my dog last night this morning, granted he's 7-pound chihuahua, but like the wind blows him off his feet and I feel bad. I have to like tether him just to like don't blow away. So
has it been sunny there? I'm jealous. It's actually, I've got blue skies in upstate New York today, so I'll take it, but glad you guys are hanging in there. I know it's been definitely a tough year for a lot of people, so hopefully we can get back to some kind of normal at some point. Well, why don't you give us a look into your DraftKings day to day? Just tell us more about what you do, who you work with, all that great stuff.
Cool. So creative operations focuses mainly on people, process, and systems. And we do so within the marketing org, most specifically as it relates to the creative development and production of advertising and content for the brand. My personal day-to-day is a lot of meetings, a lot of listening, and a lot of problem solving with the partners that I work with across the marketing org and even within my team. I love my team. They're really strong. They're really great people, and they all have sort of individual styles that I think collectively as a whole, we make a great group. So another important thing to me is just making sure that I'm supporting them, helping them ensure that they have a clear path to do their best work, and helping make sure that they have the ability to contribute to team goals and also work on their own personal development.
And then a day in the life for me, like I said before, my function is kind of similar to Sarah's in a lot of ways. I oversee process, operations, and culture for the product design team. An awesome team. Shout out to them. It's what you would consider like user experience designers, user interface designers, user research designers, and design system designers. So that's kind of the group that I work with, as well as just the general product folks. And then since I'm focused on the product side of the business, the problems that I'm solving are slightly different. So the product design organizations have really started to grow over the last like 10 years in tech companies and product companies as a whole. So as our organizations start to scale, people like myself or people like Sarah are kind of figuring out the best ways for those groups to work within the larger product organizations, kind of similar to how our engineering counterparts have really mapped that out over the past few decades.
I think also like looking for opportunities to collaborate with one another. To Mia's point, they have a lot of creative talent within their group that has more product design experience. And then the designers that sit within the creative part of the org, marketing side of the fence, are really talented as well. So I think we're always trying to look for opportunities for those teams to communicate just so that there is sort of a seamless experience for our customers, from the point that they see an ad to when they're downloading the app and in their experience within the app.
Mm-hmm. I was going to make a shout out that both of your teams are hiring, at least on the product side of things. There's definitely a few roles open I've seen, and Sarah and I have a kickoff this week to talk about a role on her team. So we can definitely get into more about that, but thought I'd point it out that we're still growing in both of these orgs.
Yeah, definitely.
Take us back to 2017 for you, Sarah, and 2018 for you, Mia. How did you land at DraftKings, and what were your first impressions of the company?
Sure, it's a good question. So it feels like a long time ago, but I think that's just based on DraftKings time. It feels like everything moves very quickly when you work here. I had spent most of my time working around Boston, primarily in advertising agencies, and had done a few assignments at in-house agency teams. I had heard about DraftKings a lot from the marketing that had been going around, because in 2015, you couldn't miss DraftKings. It was everywhere. But in the time frame that I had joined, a few former colleagues of mine had recently made the move to be employed by DraftKings. And I just really networked with them when I had heard that they were looking for project management support. My first impressions of the company were really that it was an interesting brand in the new emerging category. To me, that meant that there would be a ton of opportunity. And I really, really connected with my hiring manager and just felt like they were going to be a strong manager and a strong mentor to me. He still is somebody that I keep in touch with, even though he's no longer at DraftKings. So I think those instincts were right, which makes me feel great about my decision. But really, it was all of those things that appealed to me, and the stars aligned, and it really worked out. So I'm thankful for the opportunity that I had then and all of the opportunities that I've had since joining the team.
Yeah, and I'm from a similar background as Sarah. So I'm from the advertising agency world too. And I was predominantly working on digital projects. So things that worked with engineers or digital designers. And I kind of got to a point in my agency life where I decided that agency wasn't for me. And I was really interested in getting into the product world because of your ability to really see projects through both start to finish. And then beyond that, I also think it's really cool to be able to work on an actual product company. And then, so how I got to DraftKings, I actually met a few people who worked at DraftKings, and they introduced me to the company, and there was a position open that was a really good fit for me. My first impression was that there are so many smart people at DraftKings, and honestly, I was a little bit intimidated at first, but then I kind of realized everyone was awesome and was just excited to be able to work with a group like that.
So the women's BRG was the first at the company. And what were those early conversations when you were brainstorming starting this business resource group?
It's a good question to reflect back on. I would have to say that it was really a grassroots effort with help from several women across the org, including Mia and myself. I had worked with HR for a few years to arrange for a group of women to attend the Ad Club's annual Women's Leadership Forum. That's a local event that brings members of the community together to celebrate women, their contributions to the community, their unique stories, their achievements. It's really just an inspiring day. I don't know how else to describe it. Mia, you could probably put your spin on it too, but you kind of walk away from the day feeling like, wow, these people are incredible, and you want to do something to, contribute. So in that vein, the group that had attended both years was just really motivated to keep connecting and meeting. It became somewhat consistent. We were inviting others to join as we went along. I think that the second year really coincided with Vanessa Spadafora joining DraftKings. She was instrumental in helping us to create a vision and real purpose for the group, kind of in the structure of BRGs that she was looking to set up. And then this year, Vanessa was able to hire Bianca Sullivan for the IEB team. And she's just even further helped us provide more direction and structure for the group. So I think their guidance and mentorship in this space is really appreciated by everybody and tremendously valuable to what we're able to do compared to when we started and, what the future has in store for us.
Yeah, to the Ad Club Annual Women's Leadership Forum, I think, wasn't Brene Brown one of the speakers there?
Yeah.
Like, to give you a sense of how inspirational it was, Brene Brown was there, and it was like a really cool experience
Yeah.
to see her speak live, definitely.
Megan Rapinoe. Yeah,
Wow.
it's just a lot of really amazing people.
How do we get them to come speak at DraftKings? We'll talk about it in the next meeting.
Yeah.
Off pod.
Thursday.
Yeah.
How has the group grown and what's on the horizon for 2021? Can you describe your roles within the women's BRG? The DK women's BRG,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah, so Sarah did a ton of the work to kind of found the women's BRG, and super thankful to her for that. This year, all of the BRGs at DraftKings decided to elect 2 leads for each BRG who are kind of going to be championing and leading the BRGs forward in the year of 2021. So this year it's myself and Christine Casey. So shout out to Christine. Christine, Bianca, and myself are in the midst right now of executing some plans for International Women's Month. And we're really figuring out what the impact is that we want to leave on DraftKings in our year in these roles. So more to come.
Yeah, I will have to get Christine on the podcast, maybe next year for Women's History Month or something else.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we haven't even really gotten a chance to, talk about Women's History Month. So in that vein, what does Women's History Month mean to the both of you? Sarah, maybe you could kick us off.
I think these dedicated moments are important, whether it's women's history, Black history, pride, etc. They create awareness about contributions and achievements of people who aren't always recognized. It's also, I think, important to be authentic to yourself as an activist or an ally during these months of celebration. For me, I always try to do the work on a personal level, especially at home with my son, by having conversations with him at dinner or during bedtime, or the choices that we're making in the books that we're reading, just so that I can help him have exposure to sort of more diverse opinions and experiences and points of view.
Yeah, Sarah said that so eloquently. Ditto. Don't know what else I can add other than it's definitely a good time for reflection. And I think any moments like this get a larger group talking about different issues than would normally be, which is always great.
Can you tell our listeners about some of the cool things, Mia, that we're doing during Women's History Month and kind of what we have going on throughout the company?
Yeah, we have going on a Buy Women Owned Business Challenge. I think I said that right. So supporting both local and national women-owned businesses. A bunch of people got together a really comprehensive list of women-owned businesses for DK employees to support. And then there's a prize for people who kind of submit their purchases from these businesses. And then we're also offering some resources for people to participate in on International Women's Day. DraftKings has actually given us International Women's Day off. I don't know if we've referenced that yet in this conversation, but we put together a bunch of resources for people to check out if they want to kind of use that time to reflect or think about things in a different way. We're also highlighting a bunch of women from the company throughout the month on Slack channels, and a ton of other things that I'm sure I'm missing, but lots of fun stuff this month.
Mm-hmm.
So as we wrap up this inspiring Q&A portion of the podcast, what advice do you have for candidates looking to join DraftKings?
One constant at DraftKings is that there's always change. So my must-have qualities when I'm screening people for roles is, the ability to embrace change, adapt, and I think having a curious mindset so that you're not afraid to ask questions to really help yourself understand what's going on and, anticipate where things are headed.
I would say in interviews, really, just be yourself. I think DraftKings does a great job looking for people who are both very talented in what they do and are also just like genuinely good people. So just be yourself going into interviews, do your research of DraftKings and the team that you're interviewing for. Yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Great advice, both of you. Well, we are going to transition into the lightning round.
Lightning round.
So this will basically be a chance for people to get to know more about both of you. Jonesy will start a timer for us and I'll kick us off, you and me, Sarah. So whenever he starts it, we are good to go. All right, we are live. Where are you from?
Pittsburgh.
Any product or service you can't live without?
Does chocolate count? I eat it every day.
Yes, of course. What's one item on your bucket list?
I've been fortunate to have a lot of fun adventures and I really miss traveling. So just getting to travel more post-COVID.
Favorite mobile app?
Peloton, stress relief anytime, anywhere.
Me too. Favorite quarantine hobby?
Walks with Bunny and Birdie, my dogs.
Best part about working from home?
Getting to take my son, Jack, to the bus stop in the morning.
That's so cute. Who's your biggest inspiration?
I don't know that I have a singular inspiration. I just try to appreciate the different people in my life, how they make it better and how I can learn from them. Definitely my parents, my sisters, my friends, and people that I've worked with in the past and present.
Awesome. That is time.
That's
so
time.
Thanks for running through those. I will turn it over to you, Jason and Mia.
Mia, we're going to win, okay?
All right, here we go.
Didn't know it was a contest. I would have gone faster.
I'm kidding.
You're
I'm kidding.
on, Sarah.
I'm kidding. All right, Mia, starting now. Where are you from?
Brockton, Massachusetts.
Product or service you can't live without?
Probably a service, and it would be Megaformer Pilates classes. I'm obsessed with them.
What's one item on your bucket list?
I really want to go to Italy. I haven't gone yet. This has been on my bucket list for years and years and just had like a 2-year pause during COVID. So hopefully once things are better, can get that checked off someday.
Hopefully. Favorite mobile app?
I'm obsessed with TikTok right now. Guilty pleasure.
Nice. Favorite quarantine hobby?
Painting, probably pre-quarantine hobby as well.
Best part of working from home?
I love being able to make my own food whenever I want and not have to pack lunches and stuff like that. It's eating is so much easier, I feel like.
Final question. Who's your biggest inspiration?
Probably my family in general, like my grandparents, definitely aunts, women in my family, my sister. I don't think I can pin it down to one person.
Love it. You guys tied, so that was good.
I was really hoping you guys were going to ask the what's your favorite food question that you asked Cooley, because you really let him get off by saying banana and mayonnaise sandwiches.
Oh yeah, we did not get to circle back on that.
You never followed up on it, and I was listening and I was like, I think Jason, you were just like, okay, cool. Like, no one's gonna acknowledge that he said banana and mayonnaise sandwich.
We're all about bring your whole self to work, and that's part of his whole self.
Oh my God.
Love it.
But thank you for the on-air feedback.
Yeah, since we're here, Mia, now you have to tell everybody your favorite food.
Oh, wow. I just love so many things. That's really hard. I like tacos a lot. I think that's probably up there. What
Sarah?
about you, Sarah?
I would have to say tacos.
Love it.
It's a good
Thank
one.
you.
Tacos.
They're so versatile.
Yeah, they really are. I miss
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
my loco tacos. I miss them very much. I think I ran into you guys once there, Mia.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Well, thanks for running through all those questions with us and everything. I'll hand it over to Jonesy one more time.
We will close out today's podcast by asking you, Sarah and Mia, what is a motto or mantra that you live by every day?
Work hard, be nice to people, and have fun along the way.
I don't think I really have like a motto or a mantra, but just gratitude and being grateful for everything that you have right now, rather than focusing on the things you don't, is definitely something that I try to live by and remember every day.
Thank you, Sarah and Mia, for joining us today. And be sure to follow us on social media at DraftKings Life, except on LinkedIn, where we're just DraftKings. This podcast is available on all major podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google. We got you. So be sure to download, listen, and even throw us a 5-star rating. Be safe, be kind, and take care. And no more, was it banana and mayonnaise sandwiches?
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Cooley about that.
Done. Thank you, everyone.